Hi everyone, I'm Inji, and today I'm gonna talk about Metroidvania subgenre and these 3 example games of this genre. So let's start. As if you know, Metroidvania is a subgenre of action platform games, but has a unique characteristics. This genre takes its name from the 2 iconic games that released in the 19s, Castlevania and Metroid. Although the 2 games had different styles in their early days, their later versions, such as Super Metroid 94 and Castlevania Symphony of the Night 97, are like the foundations of this genre. We can say the subgenre characteristics roll around 4 main things. 1. Nonlinear exploration. 2. Skill-based progression. 3. Environmental narrative. 4. Challenges and secrets. If you ask what these 4 and what that means, we can understand these characteristics through our first game that we are going to examine. And after finding the subgenre elements in these games, I'll rank these 3 games under the topics visual and sound design, storytelling, gameplay, and mechanics. So let's start. The first game, Super Metroid 94. Super Metroid is the 3rd game of the series Metroid. It was released in 94 and probably was one of the most remembered games of its generation. Because it was released before 2000s, it's not really easy to reach to the game, but after installing emulator, it's ready to play. The game offers everything a Metroidvania subgenre should offer because it's that game which genre took its name from, multiple ways to explore and etc. From the start, the game tells its story with the main character talking and memorize the old game stories. After listening to the story, we start the game really quick. The main problem with it that it doesn't teach the controls, so while playing on computer, it's kind of waste of time while trying to understand the controls. Let's say whether I really need to roll under of something or it's just blocked and there's nothing to do. It was confusing at first. Turns out, yeah, I can roll. Because it's release time, it's not that complicated when it comes to abilities and the map. Yeah, you can try to go other directions, but it's simple and not that hard to remember. It gives the interesting feeling because it's old, but while playing I kinda get a weird feeling as well. Maybe nostalgia, but I'm not even that old. A simple game, but it has pretty interesting and variety of backgrounds and maps. I really enjoyed seeing different designs. The atmosphere was good and, like I said, interesting. Even though it's old, it can make you play and try to get through the levels. Through the game, you achieve new items that also give a feeling of success, and also remind you that you'll need them at some point. I can say that I'm a big fan of old games, so it kind of bored me at certain level. Not because of any lack of action stuff, it really does have that, but more because of the color palette and the old mechanics, I guess. After all, this game is old but gold. And let's go for our second game. Our second game is the famous Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight was released in 2017 and made a huge impact on this subgenre. After the foundations which put down by Super Metroid, we can say that Hollow Knight is the first game that comes to our mind when we talk about Metroidvania and sets a real good example how a Metroidvania game should be. After a cute cutscene and some learning, I started the game. The controls were simple and I got used to them, but because I'm not very familiar with the keyboard and I just got my computer, you'll see that I kinda suck at fighting parts at first. The game offers big exploration area to the player. You can even get lost, so it also offers a map feature so you can see your place and pin some important places on the map. You can even pin the people that you can talk and get information through the game so you can keep your contact with them. The only thing to complain is sometimes giving so many places to explore to the player can get them lost, or after playing hours of it, you can get tired and become stupid. And then you have to go up on YouTube and look through the gameplay videos so you can solve the level and keep going. Even there is so much you can explore, a game doesn't just put forward random information and skills. You need to get some certain levels and places to access these skills. For example, if you want to reach to your map, first you need to find Cornifer, aka the map bug. After taking a map, then you cause the opening of the pin shop. And you can add new features as pinning the resting places so when you're exhausted you don't have to go around and waste your time to find a bench. The game also offers not only items, but skills such as double jump or dash, so you reach the places that you couldn't before and got mad about it. That helped the player to keep playing, to not just to finish the game, but discover new playing mechanics and stories. Being able to improve through a game makes it much more fun to play and realistic, and plus, doesn't bore you. The game also wants you to find out the story by yourself, and some events through the gameplay. It doesn't give you full story and everything from the start because it wants you to discover the story with going forward, not with a direct narrative but with an environmental narrative. While walking around and killing your enemies, you can take hints from background elements. Also, talking with strangers and keeping contact with them helps you to open hidden stories and understand what happened that place and what's going on. That's not just helping with the curiosity, but also keeps the player relationship with the game and the environment. While getting new skills and learning about the main story, the game puts you in some challenges to test your skill levels. More you play, more things you learn, and much stronger enemies to fight. A little break, I just want to say please don't judge my playing because the enemies get stronger as you get stronger, the game doesn't feel dull or boring level by level. Also, through your adventure and challenges, you finally get to open secret areas so you can achieve more power and story. That's a good way to keep player interest in the game. Overall, Hollow Knight is a very good example about Metroidvania subgenre with its characteristics. It has every characteristics: non-linear exploration, skill-based progression, environmental narrative, challenges and secrets. Pretty good game. Let's move on. The third game, Blasphemous 2. So while choosing the three games, I kinda stuck at early 2001s, also the genre, but now it's not important. But also while writing the names, instead of one, I chose the second game. I don't know if it makes a difference at the game story. Well, I guess it does, but certainly it makes a difference about the price. But thank God Steam made an offer. I should check the first game anyways. So, Blasphemous 2. The game starts with a very explaining cutscene and simple English. But it's the era, so it's okay. Like Hollow Knight and the other Metroidvania games, this game also gives the player the free will to explore. Even it's not that complicated like Hollow Knight, it has its unique map to explore. It's more linear compared to Hollow Knight. Although the map is simple, the controls kinda hard to do at first. At least Hollow Knight has its simple jump attack controls, even though the complicated places. This game requires some combinations of keys, which is hard to do while in a fight or rush. Especially first 30 minutes of the game is just me trying to do the correct combinations and get through the tutorials. But I can blame the game. They especially warned that this game is better with consoles, so... Like I said, while progressing in the game, you learn new skills every minute. I want to talk about it while I'm comparing the games, so let's skip this part for now. When we get to the narrative part, it's actually more explaining than Hollow Knight, I think. Because every event has its little cutscene and text below, so you can get a little more familiar with the story, and I liked it. I like its challenges as well. I kinda got stuck at first like in the Hollow Knight, especially when I literally forget that I can slide in the game, so watch me die in every way possible till my biggest realization. I really like the hyping feeling while I fight, maybe because it's faster than the other games. It's because I choose the fastest weapon. At the end, Blasphemous 2 also has its characteristics, like the other two games. It really reflects the features. It's kinda tough to play, but it's fun and you can really see the effort put in that game. Its visuals and the narratives adds up to that as well. Differences and similarities. All of the games has their own unique style, but after all, they are all under the same subgenre and have the same characteristics. Maybe the Super Metroid was a little less complicated when it comes to the maps and options, but it still offers a world to explore. They all roll around the character and its upskilling adventure. At every game through your gameplay, you achieve new items and skills and adapt the challenging environment. They all got their stories and you find out more stuff while you're playing. About the differences, we can say especially at the narrative part, Hollow Knight is kinda more hidden about the story, but they'll give some hints at some point. Hollow Knight and the Blasphemous are longer than Super Metroid, mainly because the circumstances of their era, but still you can see their little differences while playing. About exploration, Super Metroid kinda dull comparing to others. They all got skill-based progression at some level, but it's more obvious for Blasphemous 2 and Hollow Knight. The ranking part's gonna be short because I already talked about the games enough, but let's finish it. About visual and sound design, of course Super Metroid is kinda old school and simple. With a simple pixel art style and also the color palette, it's obvious that the developer's main purpose wasn't making a masterpiece. Even if that was their purpose, like we talked, the circumstances wouldn't give a chance to make such a thing at that time. So discussing its visuals and sound design would be nonsense. So comparing two other games would be much more fair than that. Hollow Knight's 2D animations and environments gives a unique feeling and point out hidden gems. Unlike Blasphemous 2, its atmosphere is darker and heavier. Blasphemous 2 is lighter and more energetic colors, probably because its story that shapes around gods, let's say. Maybe the sound design is better at Hollow Knight, but I really like the visuals and environment which Blasphemous 2 offers, and I also really like the animations and its design. I also want to add that I really like narrative and voice acting in Blasphemous 2. Storytelling. It will sound like Blasphemous 2 is my favorite among them, which is right, but I really like how story goes on while playing with the cutscenes. Other games also give informations and storytelling, but I really like how Blasphemous did it. Giving context with animation is definitely my type of stuff, but it also filling the gaps among the story that we are trying to understand. Hollow Knight does it Stranger Tongues, and Blasphemous doing it with the cutscenes and etc. On the other hand, Super Metroid does it with the main character explains everything at the beginning of the game. They all have their different ways to do it, but at the end they also adapt to the story with the environment's narratives. Gameplay. The hardest one to solve was I guess the Super Metroid. Maybe it gives information at the main menu I didn't see, but it was the only time that I got on YouTube and searched for the gameplay. I wouldn't say that this is the hardest because it's the easiest of them all. The hardest one was Blasphemous 2, and that's also because I didn't use a console, so I can't really compare. About their length, Super Metroid was short compared to them and has two main endings. The ending chain depends on your item inventory. More you achieve, more you're successful. Hollow Knight has the most amount of ending, which is 5 plus 1 secret ending, and Blasphemous 2 has 2. One is good and the other is bad. I'll definitely finish all of them at some point, but for now we need to deal with it. According to Google, because I didn't finish the game obviously. About mechanics, Hollow Knight has its unique focus mechanic that you can gain soul when you're hitting enemies and heal yourself. Blasphemous 2 does it with its own system. The potions you can consume, and Metroid also does it in a slightly different way that when you kill an enemy you can take something, and I don't know what it is, but it heals you at some point. They're all interesting, but I really like the map and pinning stuff, also the combat and spells system in Hollow Knight. My favorite was definitely Blasphemous 2, but I really enjoyed playing all of them, and I hope you liked the video as well. Their own unique mechanics and stuff, they all offer good gameplay and story through the adventure. From Hollow Knight's amazing atmosphere to the Blasphemous interesting story, they all got their things. So these are the sites that I used. You can check them on Google. I really had so much fun while doing this video, but also it takes a lot of time, so thank you for watching.